Hello, this is Tons, and we are finally back with our review and play of GreedFall. Now, right away, you might notice some differences. Some of you. And that is that our compensator is now visual, or able to be seen when it's sheathed, as is the rifle apparently, and our secondary weapon. Alright, so basically, it's been a while since I've played this game, and it has not entirely been good to be back. But when I decided to start playing again, I decided to use mods. And one of my criticisms for this game was the fact that I felt as though you should be able to include at least one party member. And fortunately, there's a mod that actually allows you to include up to every single possible companion. But I didn't want that. I really felt like one more would have been enough, in my personal opinion. And at the same time, I also didn't want... Well, let's see something here. I also didn't want the game to become easier, because the difficulty level was not quite the problem. So I wanted to increase the difficulty to compensate for the fact that we were going to have extra firepower. But of course, part of the problem with that is the fact that your companions are idiots. And like, I don't know if developers test their own games. I don't know if they only test them on normal. I don't know what happens. But I tried desperately to tweak the combat experience, and I don't think it's quite where I want it to be. I don't think ever it will be. And I know we're going to run into issues in the future. Like, I feel it in my bones, in my heart, my compensator. I feel it. We're going to have problems. I just know it. But, dear God, like, it was so frustrating trying to tweak the experience. And I have a mod called Fight for Your Life, and I'm not sure the issue I had with that mod is that it improves everyone's AI, and on higher difficulties, obviously my issue is not with the AI. The AI was competent and powerful enough. My problem had to do with the companions. So there was no easy drop and fix mod that simply improved your companions. So then I'm testing things out with the mod and without the mod, and on extreme and hard. Like, I'm trying all these things out, and there were just certain fights, and I'll tell you which ones. Like, we're going to encounter them again, but I don't know how it's going to play out. I did so much testing, I can't even remember what was what. You know, like, I cannot remember what it was like in every scenario. But the combat was so frustrating. When I say your companions are idiots, I mean they are absolute morons. Like, it was really pissing me off just how stupid they were. Like, when we get to the actual fight I'm talking about, because they're going to be there, I will talk about this again. But these guys were, for starters, they have no concept of teamwork. They will each target a different enemy, and that's obviously annoying. And this game does not, as a result, this game does not reward what I call pulling, or what is called pulling. Now, for those who've played MMOs before, you already know what this term means. But basically what it amounts to is the ability to pull either a single enemy or a small group of enemies from a larger group. But I'm going to stop talking for now because of this part here, so.
Can I help you? Are you here to do business?
Are you Madam Clegg?
We would like to meet with your associate, Mr. Darcy.
Bastian? I don't know where he is. I can't say that he often graces us with his presence.
You don't have the slightest idea where he is?
I am not his caretaker, you know.
You don't seem to hold him in high regard.
Listen, my relationship with my associate is no one else's concern. And if you didn't come to do business, well...
Now, they do not appear to be an actual merchant, but we'll test it out. We'll see.
We must find him. This man you can see by my side is his brother.
Do not insult my intelligence. I know that the Darcys only have one son, alas.
You can see the Nort tattoos on his face, can't you? And a merchant like you must surely know about the Nort's recruiting process.
So it is true. The Darcys gave away one of their children. I find it hard to believe. He was supposed to go to Hikmet to deal with one of our clients, but I didn't receive any news from him after his departure. And given his tendency to get himself into impossible situations, I didn't try to get any.
Who is this client?
His name is Ferrat. You'll find him in the Alchemist District. I'll write this down.
You think something may have happened to him there?
His mission wasn't very complicated. He had to pay for a valuable shipment and take charge of it. But with Bastian, anything is possible.
Thank you, madam.
I'm glad she wrote it down. I'm not sure what she had to write down. But pulling is not a possible strategy in this game because your companions interpret the group in its entirety. So with this particular fight, I would aggro just one of the enemies, but then, and it was usually Siora, would run, one of them will run past the aggroing enemy and aggro the other enemy. Now, on normal difficulty, this is not much of a problem, if at all, which is one of the reasons why when it comes to normal difficulty, there's a lot you don't see. There's a lot of issues with combat you might not notice. But in the harder difficulties where every little thing could mean success or failure, well, you notice all the flaws. And we were just getting slaughtered. And like, we could not focus on one enemy. The game does not do that. Now, with this mod we have, who knows how that's going to play out? I'm not sure. I have no idea. Because I just can't remember. I was so frustrated by what was happening. Like, I just can't even I have no recollection of the specifics at this point. I just got blind with rage.
Bit of poison on my blade. Then let's go!
And the sluggishness of this weapon. God, do you feel it?
See if you can ward
Like,
off this fate.
you see that? That's the other thing. Like, when you miss, it's you really pay the price on a miss with this compensator. And I'm okay with two-handed weapons being slower, even though realistically they're not that much slower. Yeah, what just happened was so easy. I had to check to make sure we were on extreme. But yeah, I'm okay with it, but I don't think they balanced it right. I really don't feel as though it was balanced correctly, but that's just a feeling. I can't measure it. But two-handed just seems entirely too slow in this game. When you're up against enemies that are big, such as certain animals, it's even worse because they are not hindered by their size, and yet you're very much hindered by this weapon. Like, just look how slow that is. Now, part of the reason these guys are so easy is because they have no armor. It's really your armored enemies that will give you the hardest time, or at least it is for me. And I know part of that is my fault. And in the end, that is partially why I decided to go with extreme difficulty, because we can win with extreme difficulty. I was winning on extreme difficulty even with a bunch of idiots. It just took far more tries than worth it. At the same time, I recognize that part of the reason it's harder than it should be for us in particular is because I don't really level as often. We're not doing crafting to improve stuff. We don't even really equip better gear. Like, we don't even check for that, and we probably should. So there's a lot of things that I do or don't do that makes this much harder than it is, or much harder than it should be. So I was like, you know, I'm just gonna go with extreme, and we're going to use Fight for Your Life, the mod. And if Fight for Your Life seems to make it too easy, I'll probably remove that mod. Like, we're probably just gonna end up removing that again. But it's difficult trying to tweak the experience, and trying to tweak the combat experience. It put more emphasis on how difficult it is to tweak combat, because at some point while I was trying to balance it all out, I'm just like, I don't even know what I want. Like, I'm not even sure what I'm looking for. And what I mean is, I don't want an experience where I'm dying all the time. Because I know people argue that, oh, when that happens, you feel accomplished when you finally win. I can't say I feel quite like that. I feel annoyed more than anything. That I kept dying. And I'm just like, instead of feeling like, yes, I did it, I feel more like, finally, kind of thing. So I didn't want that kind of experience, but I also didn't want to easily mow through everything that we found. So it was difficult trying to figure out, okay, what kind of experience exactly am I getting? You know? So that, you know, imagine what that's like for developers.
Let's see if you can ward off this fate.
but it's still difficult to figure out what exactly I want. Like that time I was screwing around and Hava basically got through that unscathed. So that makes me start to reconsider Fight for Your Life. Now, the mod author was like, all you have to do is edit these files or whatever to tweak it how you want. Even though I am a Skyrim mod author, meaning I've made mods for Skyrim, so it's not entirely foreign to me to get my hands dirty. Most of the time, it's funny because you have like these two different mentalities, or at least in my case you do. As a mod author, I'm all about getting my hands dirty. But when I want to be a player, I don't want to screw around with stuff. I just want to play the game. I don't want to edit. I don't want to be editing these files. That's why I'm looking for mods, so I don't have to figure that out. Because it's probably not even that hard, you know, like to figure out. For all I know, it probably only takes Notepad++ or something like that. But I didn't even, like, okay, now I'm trying to figure out how to modify SLI files. Like, I don't want to do that. I just want to play, and then I got to tweak the hell out of that, try to figure out which value works and what doesn't work for me. Like, I did not want to do that. So, for me, it's kind of all or nothing. So we'll see what happens. Like, I keep hearing enemy music. And God forbid if it's a bug of some kind, because then then we're chasing after nothing. Like, there are no enemies. You're just being a fool. And see, I bet you that's an area up there. Like, I bet you there's a way here. And then from up there you can slide down. And the reason I mention that is because what annoys me sometimes is, now if that's not an area at all, then I have no problem with it. Like sometimes it's just like that. They're just gonna put a border there. It's better than having an invisible wall kind of thing. But if it is an area, then my problem is the fact that I've climbed things like this in real life with no equipment or anything. It's not the easiest thing to do, but you can, it's relatively easy, okay, to climb up something like this. And yet, this hero, this adventurer can't do it. Now, I am pretty satisfied with the mod that allows your weapons to show even when sheathed. I'm very happy with that mod. But I'm also aware that I think I mentioned this in a game or in one of the parts of our playthrough here. But I figured that the reason they did not show the weapon when it was sheathed is because of animation issues. That was my guess. And if I wasn't clear as to what I meant, or if I didn't say it at all, but I thought I did at some point. What I was referring to is the animation for putting your weapon away and drawing your weapon. Like when you look at Skyrim, they have the animations to draw your weapon, put it away. And it's, I would argue it's pretty smooth. Well, it's good. It's well enough. I mean, it wasn't good enough for some people, which is why some people mod that kind of thing. But for me, it was fine. But then again, I'm also the kind of person that really wasn't bothered by the state of the water. And there are people that were very bothered by the water in Skyrim. But I noticed this. See how the weapon has to magically appear in your hands? And I think that's why they just chose to not have it be visible when it was sheathed. But honestly, that doesn't bother me. Like, I'm okay with this. I prefer this to not seeing the weapon at all. I much prefer this method. Now, that fight I was talking about is this one right here, which is why I saved. So, there's two of these monsters over here, two of these giant beasts. Now, fight for your life. It looks like we're teaming up. But without fight for your life, that other creature over there would have been aggroed because they would have went straight forward. Much like it looks like Vasco is doing right now. So, bless his heart. Now, if we die, it's only because I was screwing around quite a bit. Like, I'm not even putting effort into this. I'm guessing Vasco died. Yeah, he died. Kinda served him right. Kinda served him right.
Things are about to get dicey.
That served me right. Alright, so we're gonna try that fight again. This time without the mod fight for your life. We'll be right back. Now, I'm not sure how quickly mods take hold or take effect, so we'll see if these guys, like, I don't know if you have to load somewhere and then load back in. I have no clue how this stuff works right now, but I suppose we'll find out.
Let's go.
And there's the other problem I have with this combat. It's not... I can understand not wanting people to just completely walk away from a fight. I mean, in some games, I have deliberately used that strategy depending upon the situation, recouped and all that stuff. It's like, alright, fine. But when a reset can occur, with you just regularly trying, look at that, he just reset. Just regular combat. This was just regular combat, and a reset just happened in the middle of a fight. That is way too sensitive. You gotta give them a much larger area to fight in before they go to reset like that. Alright, so that was without fight as if your life depends on it. I know I said fight for your life. I kept saying that. I don't know why. But... I can't... It's very difficult for me to say whether or not this mod is still functioning. I couldn't really tell, honestly. I probably should have tested things a bit more before coming back, but I really wanted to get back to recording. And I had already spent like a few hours trying to test things out. So it was like playing for hours for no reason. You know what I mean? So, alright, I'm gonna go ahead and say that the fight as if your life depends on it is not active right now. I'm gonna go ahead and come to that conclusion because everyone's freaking dead. So we're gonna go ahead and make that assumption. Some of you are probably asking, why doesn't he use a heal potion? That was a fair question. But part of it is because one heal potion is not going to be enough. And we are slow as molasses. Wow. He's got truth here. The other reason was because you have to heal all the way. Because these guys can kill, like, they take at least half your health, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not at least half, it's very close to where a single health potion is not. Like right now, one more kick will kill Peyton. Like she's dying. She gets hit one more time. Keep in mind, like, there were 4 of us. And that's what I mean, like, the game doesn't balance well. Because they should have better survivability than this. Hava should not be outlasting them by this much. It's okay if she does outlast them. You're the player. So you should be a little bit better at things than them. But this is just absurd. Like, how in the hell, dude? Look at that bullshit. That was some bull donkey. But yeah, fight as if your life depends on it. Definitely not active. Definitely not. Wow. Whiffing with a fury attack when you have a compensator. Look at that. See that big old whiff? I mean, it sucks to whiff with normal attacks, but it's at least a little bit more understandable, I guess. But whiffing with a fury attack is extremely frustrating. Like, that was a fury attack. And I kind of hate that given the amount of effort it takes to build up your fury, which I know would be less effort if I focused on it, but still, I feel as though you should have more certainty with fury than you actually do, especially with your two-handed weapon. Wow. I like how he learned to fly. Oh my god, I was blocking. This is the stuff I'm talking about. Like, the combat. Now, this is what it was like when we fought the other two. Or rather, when I was testing things that I fought the previous 2 creatures. It was this bad. It was like repeated. And these are just two animals. Like, this isn't a boss fight. You know what I mean? So it's a little upsetting. It's a little frustrating. Because either the game is way too easy, or it's far too difficult. Like, they're all dead. All of them. And this was one of the problems I had with... Well, I deserve that, I guess. This was one of the problems I had with the difficulties... with the difficulty levels without the mods. It was like, after playing on hard was frustrating. It was annoying because you were basically fighting by yourself in every fight. That was it. Like, they were going to kill your guys. Pretty much guaranteed. Now, this is before gear was going to matter, or, you know, upgrading their gear and their weapons or whatever. So it didn't make sense for that to be the case. This was starting out. I mean, technically this is starting out. We're level 9. And yet, they die, man. Like, they die so easily. Now, I was targeting... Did you guys see that? I was targeting this one, and she went for the other one. I'm clearly trying to focus on this one. And I'm not even looking for companion AI to be super advanced. Because it would make sense if the companion AIs were dynamic enough to change who they focused on based on damage or what have you, based on the situation. Like, they're looking at the situation, they're like, wow, this person or creature's almost dead. I'm gonna focus my attacks on them. That kind of thing. But these guys don't even have the wherewithal to survive. Like, they can't even hang in the fight. And keep in mind, Ciora is a healer. So I don't understand what is going on. I don't get it. It also sucks that you don't necessarily get fury when dodging an enemy, but I kind of get that. I think it would have been a little bit too complicated trying to figure out how to tell the game that you're dodging at the right time. I still personally would have put the effort in. Because I like when games do that. I mean, you already... Because there's games, I think, that have perfect dodge. Now, I blocked that, and we just died. So... like, it's just kind of annoying. So we're gonna come back. We're gonna do fight as if your life depends on it. We'll be right back. And I'm having other technical difficulties tonight. I went to hit record, and even though I've told GeForce multiple times that I don't want it to start recording my desktop, occasionally it just decides it's going to ask that question anyway. So I go to record, and instead of recording the game like it did the very last 2 times, I hit record and decides, hey, do you want to, by any chance, record your desktop, even though you've already told me no? See, now it's just so much easier. But it's almost like maybe it should be. because these are not boss enemies. So, I don't know. But it's, as you can see, it was much easier that time. And as I was loading the game, I had a feeling that regardless, it was probably going to be much easier, because several times by ourselves, we almost killed these enemies. Because, you know, they died instantly. And I would say, if not for some cheesy combat mechanics, because there's times where I'm blocking and it still gets through somehow. Somehow we still end up taking damage. And this is clearly unintended, or I would imagine it is. But it is very frustrating when that happens. But, you know, we almost successfully killed both of them by ourselves. So anything that increased the survivability of our companions was going to make the fight a bit more easier, in my opinion. Or at least that's what I was thinking as we were loading back in. And turns out I was right. Like, it was hardly a challenge once they started to fight competently. But do I think it could have been more balanced? Absolutely. This game could have been way more balanced combat-wise, and should have been, in my opinion. I also have a mod that toggles the walk instead of it being joystick.
What's your destination, milady?
Just into town. I'm an emissary of the congregation and am here to discuss matters with your governor. Why the checkpoint?
We've got orders to verify all comings and goings. The roads are becoming dangerous. Do you have anything particular to report?
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Well then, good travels, milady.
But as I was saying, I also downloaded the mod that toggles walking, because I hate using the joystick for that, because then this happens a lot of times with me trying to do. It's like, I prefer to toggle it. I understand why they don't worry about that as a feature in a game. I get it, because I imagine most people do not walk anywhere in these games. But me, I'm weird. And I'm glad there was a mod author who is also weird like myself. And was like, I want to be able to just walk in a game. In this game. And it's like, yeah, me too. I also want to do that. And I get it. It is a weird thing. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's funny because you have people that get frustrated when games force you to walk. And I can understand that, but most of the time I don't even think about it. It really just doesn't bother me to walk in a game. But I definitely get why it would bother most. Because it's kind of pointless.
Halt. Your names, titles, and business at hand.
Lady de Sardet, emissary of the congregation of merchants on Tier Fredy. I have come to present my regards to your governor.
Your papers seem to be in order. Welcome to Hikmet, Your Excellency.
And it's like, you, in a way, you do it to role play. But when you're playing a single player game by yourself, it's almost like, who are you role playing for? I mean, obviously for yourself, but it seems kind of silly. And I can admit that, even though I will do that period. When I'm playing games that I'm not recording, this is how I play. I like to roleplay, even if I'm only doing it in my head, essentially. We're like that, so. But this combat, it could have been better. It should have been better, in my opinion. It felt good for a while, but yeah, you won't really know the quality of combat until you are tested, like really tested.
If you come to do business, you should go upstairs. I am but a poor underling.
That mod is not without its flaws. I guess when you talk to people, sometimes it'll untoggle the walk function, but I'd rather play with the mod than without it.
Hello, sir. Is this the house of the man called Farad?
It is I. What can I do for you?
We're searching for Mr. Darcy. He was supposed to come here to do business.
Yes. Yes, he did come here, but I don't know where he is. To be honest, our exchange did not exactly go as planned. And if you are his associate, or a member of his family, know that you owe me a large sum of money.
How so?
Well, this Darcy fellow came here to take the shipment, and he was supposed to deliver me a promissory note.
Which never arrived, I imagine. How could you let him leave with your merchandise without payment?
Well, he's the son of a very well-known family. I did not deem it necessary to try and obtain more guarantees.
What if something happened to him?
Nothing happened. At least I don't think so. Why should that concern me? I'm not his brother. He owes me money, and I do not have the slightest idea of where he might be.
I suspect that you are not telling us everything.
Oh, come on. If you have not come to repay his debt, leave me alone so I can work in peace.
Now, I like the compensator that we have, but I hate the handle or the grip. And clearly this model has its issues. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a gap, it seems, where the pommel is. But yeah, I don't like that grip too much. I wish you could change it. I don't think you can. Now we can check for paperwork.
Greetings. If you have come to do business, head upstairs, if there's any business left to do.
Why do you say that?
They haven't been paying me, and I've had to work with cheap ingredients for weeks.
What do you do here exactly?
I create and prepare complex potions. Not simple health potions, but far more subtle things.
And if I'm not mistaken, things are not going the way you would want them to.
The boss has always been difficult, but ever since he got ripped off, it has been a living hell. I work using leftovers thrown away by all the other alchemists, while listening to him screaming at me and everyone else all day. This is no way to live.
I really hate how we're forced to talk to this person about what's going on with him when all we needed to do was pick up that piece of paper on that
Have
desk.
you heard of a man called Bastian Darcy?
It would be difficult not to. His name is the only thing my boss talks about. Apparently, he did not pay for one of our shipments and still left with the goods. And now my boss makes me work twice as much to compensate for his losses. With ingredients I wouldn't even feed to a pig.
And what did your boss do?
Well, he spent every waking hour cursing his name. That's how I learned about it.
How can a brilliant, conscientious alchemist keep working here? I am certain that any great laboratory in town would welcome you with open arms. So why continue protecting your employer?
This position may not be the most rewarding these days, but it wasn't always like this.
We'll leave you to your work.
How kind of you.
That is the first time I failed that charisma check. Letter from one of Master Ferrat's acquaintances. My friend, I am deeply saddened to hear about the difficulties you are facing as a consequence of your dealings with Bastian D'Arcy. I was told that this boy was inconsequential, but I did not think him dishonest. Alas, as you know, if you were to wait for his family to repay you, the wait could prove very long. Correspondence with the continent is quite slow, but there are other solutions. Debt collectors could prove useful. I hope that you will manage to find a solution to this problem. So, we were forced to talk to him. As you saw, that cutscene automatically activates before you even get to down the stairs. And you don't have the option to just leave the conversation. No, you have to ask him about both topics before advancing. I hate that. I really don't like that design.
You again. I already told you that I do not know where the man you're searching for is.
You may not know where he is, but you did everything you could to find him, didn't you?
What do you mean?
Does this document ring a bell? You hired some debt collectors to find Mr. Darcy.
How dare you rummage through my belongings?
You could have taken legal action and retrieved what you were owed, but you sent some killers instead.
I doubt the governor would approve. Do you want us to tell him about it?
No. But please understand me. The Darcy family is on the continent. It would take months for them to reply to my complaint. What other solution was there? My shop will not survive this.
Tell us who these debt collectors are, and we'll take care of it.
They loiter in an alleyway of ill repute, not far from here, in the Science District.
That's what I feared. Probably a bunch of cutthroats. If Bastian survives...
If he survives, remind him of what he owes me.
But generally speaking, I do not believe in forcing the player to do things. I believe in encouraging the player to do things. So instead of making it to where the player has to talk to the help, which in a way, when people have help like that, fully play it out. Why are these doors just open? Why, you know, like you should have to knock, somebody answers, that kind of thing, at least in my opinion. Well, we're never getting into that. Or by the time we're able to, we're not going to care enough to do it, because if we're spending the type of character we're playing here, we're spending points in lockpicking. We've already purchased everything that we want point wise, which means we're probably extremely powerful, and whatever's in that chest probably won't be worth it. But I could be wrong. We'll see. We will see, I suppose. But you know, we couldn't talk to the help right off the bat. That should have been an option. And then you're forced to talk to them. Instead of that, my thought process would be make it to where you don't have to talk to him, but there's advantages to speaking with him. And then there's advantages to not going straight to the point. So one of the topics was to ask him about his day or what he does or whatever. And some of us might be playing a character that really wouldn't give a damn. You know, like, who cares how he feels? We just would have asked him about Bastion Darcy and moved on. The thing is, you could make it to where asking him about Bastion Darcy, or asking him about his work, gives you another conversation option or increases the chances that you'll convince him to open up to you, to make it worthwhile. Like I said, it's about encouragement, in my opinion, not punishment. Because some games, they go for punishment instead. Like, if they don't force you to do something, they punish you for not doing something, which is practically like forcing you. To me, you should allow players to play as they see fit, play to their play style. But if there's a way that you'd prefer the player to play, especially if you think that doing it another way will actually reduce their ability to have fun.
Halt! No one enters!
That's odd. Never seen that before. But, you know, oh wait, is this it here? But like, yeah, just make it to where there's a benefit to playing how you want the player to play.
Have mercy! Have mercy! I will repay everything, I swear. This is nothing but a horrible misunderstanding. My family is very rich. They will give you everything you want. Please.
Hey, you! Leave this man alone!
What do you want? No one asked you for your opinion, so get lost.
Maybe he's friends with the weakling.
Maybe. In any case, it seems like he wants to share his fate.
You think I'm afraid? I've fought uglier people than you.
Vasco, let me try to take care of this. How much money are we talking about? You're here to collect a debt, right?
Between what he owes our client and our commission, it's a hefty sum. But if you want to pay in his stead, my lady, please do.
Well, if you've been following this so far, you know we don't ever pay a damn thing. Ever. So, no.
I don't think you realize who you're dealing with. So, let me introduce myself. My name is de Sardet. I'm the legate of the congregation, and I'm here to save the life of one of our citizens. If you do not deliver him to me immediately, I will have no choice but to inform the governor.
And you'll end up rotting in jail in no time.
Damn it, they look serious.
Yes, a bit too much. Listen, we don't want to get in trouble with the governor, so take him.
Yeah, if our client wants to get repaid, you'll have to make an official request. Come.
Thank you for your intervention. I thought these brutes would kill me.
Don't mention it. It's only natural.
But how did you end up in such a situation?
Oh, I'm certain someone like you, who belongs to high society, will understand. There is a game table here that is attended by the best of the aristocracy. I lost the money I owed to that merchant while playing there. And since I got out with a few other debts, I had to leave the merchandise as repayment as well. But that's a mere trifle that my father would have paid for without thinking twice. I never would have thought that someone would send these types of brutes after me. What a lack of tact. In any case, I am extremely grateful to you. To whom do I have the honor of speaking?
My name is Captain Vasco. Naught and sea given. It was a pleasure, sir.
Now, as you saw, you could just attack them. And I debated on doing that for two reasons. Number one, you get more XP. When you resolve things without fighting, you do not get the same amount of XP you would if you spilled blood. Also, we would have gotten some loot and we get nothing now because we resolve things peacefully. So I was debating killing them, so I don't know. But I figured it was a 75% chance. Let's roll the dice. Let fate decide. But also, if you kill them, for whatever reason, you lose points with the congregation of merchants. So.
Thank you, Desade.
My pleasure. But why didn't you tell him who you were?
But I did tell him. I was stupid. I resented everyone, and you even more, for the life I didn't get to live.
Look how shiny.
You had it all. Everything I thought I was entitled to. But after seeing Bastion, I realized that in the end, I was exactly who I wanted to be. A Naut, and a proud one at that.
I'm glad to hear it. No more regrets?
No more regrets. And I certainly don't regret not being called Leandra Darcy.
Yeah, we were shiny for some reason. Ava was just shiny as Vasco's hat, which I don't know why his hat is suddenly shiny. But yeah, you lose 1 point with a congregation of merchants if you kill them, which I thought was weird simply because I thought they were bandits, basically. Now, to my knowledge, you cannot resolve that situation. That was another missed opportunity, because I would have liked to have seen that through to completion. Tried to help the dude out a little bit. Now, spending points. The thing is, there's a part of me that wanted to go this route. Alright. I mean, increasing the damage, I always love that. Increasing the range of our attack, even better. And then speed, obviously, I like that. The balance thing I don't care much for. And I probably should, I just don't, not gonna lie. This seems interesting too. So, but eventually we'll get here. Eventually we'll get to here. I don't know about this. Maybe that could be awesome. But I'd rather go dodge and stasis or roll and stasis, because the dodge is crap without roll. Like, I really hate it. And with certain enemies, I feel like it increases our survivability. Like, this stuff is pretty good, but I don't feel like it'll have as much of an impact as roll and stasis. Like, stasis for me seems like a must-have skill. Now, starting out, it seems like every one of these big spheres, or big circles rather, is worth 2 points. And that's what makes it suck that you're not a complete blank slate. Because obviously I would not have put any points into this. I don't care about this. I don't use it. So it's just kind of annoying. It's a little bit of a nuisance for me personally. But we're going to go with stasis, and we're going to go with roll. It was not an easy decision for me. See, like, I'm sure this stuff is all quite important. Like, seriously. But we're probably not going to spend any points in any of this. But this, 100%. We're going to spend the hell out of this. Because duration, obviously. But yes, we need an armor destroyer. Then this is even better, because it means when we hit that bastard, they're gonna feel it. Wonder what this is. Healing. Probably not ever gonna take healing. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going defensive with Hava. Yeah, so I think our next steps are going to be to get up to here. So that's 4 levels that we need, 4 points. So we're gonna need 8 points. It's gonna get us to level 18. Kinda sucks, feels so far away. And it's gonna be difficult to decide, wait, yeah, I don't care about that. So technically 7 points will get us everything we want for a little while. 7 levels, roughly. But it's going to be difficult trying to decide which one to focus on here. We're going to go with accuracy because we have a pistol that we cannot use. And we may use a memory crystal at some point down the road to change that, because it's not like we use pistols a lot. In fact, I don't think we use them ever. But the thing is, my intention is to make our pistol the armor breaker, so to speak. Like, that's what we're going to try to use in order to, whenever an enemy has a lot of armor, that is how we're going to get rid of it. That's my intent. So now that I'm thinking about it, like, our compensator is going to be primarily just doing damage. We're gonna put no armor ability on there. So we're definitely going to, now that I'm thinking about it, we're gonna go for this first, because we need that. So we'll probably get to the next 2 levels, we'll go here, because we have to kill the armor. Armor is our weakness right now. Not sure what we want to do here. Like, we're not doing these. I know that much. We're not doing any of this. But we could have 100% charisma. I think that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, we'll do that. The good news being, now we don't have to spend anything in charisma, because we are always going to have a cape. All our points can now go to other places, and that pretty much just leaves these 2 here. So the next one, I think when we hit level 13, we might go for this, go for Vigor. It's hard to say, because part of me wants to put points in craftsmanship, but that is kind of what we're saving for. Like, we have our stash that we're not breaking anything down. That's what we're waiting for. We're trying to wait till we have the ability to reach craftsmanship level 3, because then you get more stuff breaking things down that way. I don't know if we're ready to be champion of the arena yet. I don't think we're quite there. But we'll do this. Oh wait, almost forgot. We can now equip this weapon. Yes. Yeah. Big difference, big difference. We should actually look at the gear in general. See if we can improve people. Alright, let's stand where there's light. I really hate that system. I do. I hate the method that this is done. Because it relies on where you're standing. And that should not be the case. See, I have no problem switching her to this. Because it still fits her character. And role-playing matters to me. Let's see if we got anything for anyone else that works. Well, none of this is better. But like, even if gear is better, I want it to fit the character. I want it to be good for them. If that makes sense. So it can't just be better. It also has to fit with their character design or alliance or what have you. Which I know doesn't make sense, but that's what I want. Actually, I think we're going to end this for now.
Here's the palace. Did you prepare a speech? Being an ambassador is as dangerous as running on the rigging in a storm.
Here's Governor Buren's palace. I believe he's a renowned scholar. But beware, he's also a politician. Words covered in honey, but as dangerous as my weapons.
You'd better go and meet this governor without me. We are at war. I'm not certain that I can remain calm if I see such a man.
We rarely bow down on our ships. I hope I will not embarrass you.
Well, this is going to be a problem. Now, the reason this is going to be a problem is because, unlike Dragon Age, I think it was one of the Dragon Ages. In Mass Effect Andromeda you couldn't, but I think in the Mass Effects you could. But in these other games, you could decide, you know what, I'm not going with a full complement as far as my party. I'm going to leave some behind. Now, most of the time, if you went into the situation alone, you were going to die. Because these games were meant to be played with a party. But you could do it. In this game, you can't. You have to have a full group, no matter what. It will not let you exit the group menu. And when you have a group, if someone is in your group, you cannot talk to them to get rid of them. You have to talk to someone who's not in your group to compose your group. This is an issue because if I were to remove the mod that increases the number of party members you can have, which I'm clearly using, when we came back, we'd still have a full complement, and we would not, or we'd still have 3 people, and we wouldn't be able to get rid of anyone because they're all in the group. So they can't be talked to be dismissed. They're stuck in there, right? So if she is a problem, she's just going to be a problem because we can't get rid of her now. She's just in the group. Oh man. So this is gonna be interesting. For now, this is the end of this particular chapter in Heva Day Center's journey. I thank you for joining me on this adventure, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.